Hello again, welcome back to the rantings and ravings of excerpt preparation. Today we will be focusing on Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 4, and specifically the section from A to B. Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky was born in Russia, as we know, May 7th, 1840, and died November 6th, 1893. He was around during the Romantic period. I'd say the biggest controversy of his life was probably the fact that he was, I believe he came out as gay. I may not be as quite correct in this exact statement, but it was believed that he was gay, and that did influence his music in his later period, specifically Symphony No. 4 to Symphony No. 6. Although someone much smarter than me could explain all the very specific details. His fourth symphony he wrote in F minor. He wrote it in between 1877 and 1878, so within that year, and was performed by the Russian Musical Society. Excuse me. It was performed at the Russian Musical Society concert in Moscow on February 22nd of, it seems like 1878. Yeah, there we go. This symphony has a nickname as Fatum, or Fate. Seems pretty nice. It would seem pretty interesting. It lines up, my laptop lines up with his possible coming out at the time. I feel like I'm hanging on this a little too long, if I'm being honest. So we're gonna get the basics. We're gonna talk briefly, and we'll try to get more into interpretation this time, because that's kind of gonna be the really important part of this excerpt. It doesn't really have any markings for the performer other than two dynamic markings. And they're very helpful. They're very different, in fact. It's a fortissimo at measure 38. Actually, no, I believe it's a fortissimo at A as well, so I need to consult. I need to consult my book of 100 excerpts for the bass trombone. Truly a flex. So, in my part I'm looking online, I have a measure 38 fortissimo, but I also have a fortissimo at A, which is where we're going to begin this excerpt. And then another fortissimo. Oh my god, these are great dynamic markings. Another fortissimo on the and beat of 55. The and of 4 on measure 55. So given this very specific directions in terms of dynamic control and performance, we can determine that this section is going to be pretty loud, and he's giving us specific sections that he wants us to be loud. Or when I say loud, I mainly mean like bigger. I mean with big sound. We never really want to sound edgy, even with Tchaikovsky and even with Wagner. We want to sound really beautiful, but big and loud. There's a loud that we're looking for. So when performing this excerpt, you want to be kind of careful. It is performed sometimes with a very heavy kind of sound, very edgy kind of sound, and it's not necessarily wrong. But the average listener, and even not myself, it tends to kind of hurt the ears. It's not as nice to listen to. We kind of is not something I want to like come back to. So given this really specific directions again, as I was saying, we actually have a lot of free room to move with this. And obviously it all comes down what the conductor wants. Excuse me if you hear any hammering, that would be my family putting up some pictures. So we can discuss how we're going to perform this and the difference between marcatos versus accents, and I hope that comes through very well. I would say that does. Marcatos versus accents. When we're thinking of marcato, we're thinking of a lot of vertical motion. So every note is getting its moment. And we want that to be the highlight of this thing, this big, fancy, like brilliant, just blazing fast, this blazing fast piece of music. It's a lot of conductors that take it really fast. So do we want it to feel like it's kind of like clomping around happily? Well, clomping around with lots of energy. I don't know about happily. Or do we want to have it accented, which implies more, in this specific case, that it's going to have more horizontal movement. We're thinking every phrase has its own moment. We're not worried about every note in it. We're more concerned about the entire phrasing. So personally, I'm a horizontal man. I want all the licks I play to feel like they have musical character, and especially since in this excerpt, the bass trombone is given a lot of moving lines. It's a lot of articulations, very not syncopated, but pretty fast stuff, some technical licks. and I would say we need to make sure we're moving forward. We don't ever want to feel stagnant while performing this excerpt. So I guess preparing it in terms of things, there's nothing super challenging about anything specifically. It's a lot of fundamentals that come together really well. You've got like long tone articulations, you got some arpeggios and some interval stuff to work on. I would say the hardest section to think about would be the measure 38 to 51 ish. A lot of dot 8/16 and some running scales. This is kind of where Tchaikovsky kind of goes off the rails from F minor. We go into what looks like D flat major, it seems. But yeah, you should know your scales very well. You should be able to perform them without thinking. You got some interval stuff. You should be able to go be super consistent fast between all these different positions, and you should be right on the beat. You shouldn't be on the backside. You're already behind the orchestra. So if at any point you're not right with the conductor or right with the rest of the orchestra, you're late. There's no reason to be late. To be late is to be dead. Excuse me. That's the way I like to think about it. Then we have the thirds exercise at the end of it. Then we have this giant just dum bum beam. It's very just thick chords and thick sound, just big. The whole thing about this excerpt is, can you play big with good tone, good intonation, and play these fast licks without sacrificing any of your fundamentals? So that's a big part of this excerpt. So we're gonna talk about interpretation. Not that there isn't too much to talk about. Again, we have so much free room. What's very common is that this movement will be played really fast. So I recommend the accent performance of this. The and so on. I don't want to sing the entire thing. I'm not a good singer. We want to have all that forward momentum, and we want to have a lot of good tone. So obviously, the greatest way to probably practice this and get comfortable with all these licks is to practice it about half tempo, but still trying to maintain that forward momentum. So even if it is excuse me. We'll jump in a little bit earlier, but the whole point is to try to keep it as forward as possible. Hope my gain is not too high. Talking about mic stuff while we're at it. And then yeah, obviously we won't take it that way. That way, when you also encounter these fast looks, for me, I would say we talking about slide positions when you get to about 36 and you're going around doing the rounds to about 43. Yeah, to about 43. Using alternate positions is totally okay. Using your trigger positions is totally okay. There's really no right way to perform this in terms of slide positions. It's all up to the performer, and there's no particularly wrong way. But whatever you pick, do it the same way every time. If I don't do the exact same thing every time, it trips me up and I have a bad audition. So things matter. So we're doing these. Ding ding ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum 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 and so on. So we're doing. What we find is that beats 2 and 4 are kind of the more important beats. So trying to highlight that thing. You can also try to have the highlights be on beats 1 and 3. Those are also not bad. In fact, more common with the Romantic era. So when performing this, make sure you're 1, consistent, and 2, able to do it consistently. I'm bad at this, but practicing it slow and getting a feel for how you want these licks to go. So do you want to have 36 and onward sound similar to 1 and 3 being accented? I'm just reading my screen. I haven't my laptop. Where's gonna be 2 dun 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 dun. We're just gonna have a lot of that stuff. I'm skipping to a different line. I keep hitting the mic. I'm sorry. Skipping technically a line, but do we want that sound or do we want bum bum ba dum bum 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 bum? Keep bum ba dum bum 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 bum. How do you want to do that? Personally, I'm leaning more towards the beats 2 and 4. It seems like it's a big dance number, so we kind of want to have that feeling to it. Hold down. God damn, that's stupid. So I'm gonna go ahead and perform it. We're gonna talk about. We're mainly gonna focus on in our three interpretations. We're gonna mainly focus on style of sound, like times of what fortissimo means, the what beats we're focusing on. I keep hitting the mic. I'm sorry. And accents versus marcato. So I think the way I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do my first run of it as all marcato. They're all gonna kind of like feel it's stagnant as best I can, and we're gonna have like a pretty big sense of what fortissimo means. Like pretty on the kind of on the edge side. This is kind of what you don't want, but it's close with a. And we're gonna do it as a beats 1 and 3. So not really a dance rule. We're doing beats 1 and 3 kind of importance. Second time it will be with an accented feel. Excuse me. And we're gonna keep it with a pretty nicer sense of what fortissimo means. We're not gonna worry about if it's loud. We're just gonna worry about projection, because at this point, entire orchestra's playing this part. We don't need to kill it. Some people do that. And my third time, and oh yeah, we were gonna focus on beats 2 and 4 for the syncopated kind of licks. They're not really syncopated, but they have the 16th notes, and when we perform them, they kind of sound syncopated. I think for my third time, we're gonna keep with the fortissimo the way it is. We're gonna we're gonna take it a bit slower. It doesn't necessarily need to be blazing fast. The first two will be kind of really fast, and we're gonna kind of keep the 2 and 4 method with it, beats 2 and 4. And that will be that preparation. Happy practicing. Extra, dude.